Hey, hunting family, welcome to episode 99 of Tracks and Tackle, the podcast where we prove that a bad day hunting's still better than a good day at work. And this past weekend, we didn't have any bad days. I'm your host, Ron Menser, the Arrow Eagle. And tonight we're joined, as always, with my co host, Kris. And he's another opening day deer slayer. We've got a full squad in the house tonight. We've got Josh with us, we got Lee with us, two of our favorite returning co-hosts who always bring the heat. And apparently, these guys raised some absolute hammer whitetail killing kids too. Pennsylvania and Maryland rifle seasons opened this past Saturday, and let me tell you, the deer lost, and they lost badly. Kris and I both doubled up on opening morning, two grown men acting like it was our first deer all over again. Uh, Lee's son dropped his very first buck, and I heard there were tears, high fives, and maybe a little bit of dad crying in the woods. And Josh's daughter straight up out hunted her old man, putting another doe on the ground like she's been doing it for 20 years. It was one of those openers you're going to tell your grandkids about. Muzzles still smoking, drags that felt half as long because the adrenaline was doing all the work, and camp stories that are going to get better every single time we tell them. So tonight we're going to relive every second of it. We're going to talk about why rifle season still feels like Christmas in camo. And we're going to get hyped for next week because next Tuesday night we drop episode 100, 100 episodes of this circus. And we're walking down memory lane, digging up old clips and maybe dragging a few old guests out of retirement. So buckle up, crack a drink. Let's talk about the weekend of whitetail population in the Keystone and Old Line states officially going on notice. Episode 99 starts right now. What is up, fellas? How are you guys doing? Are you hyped or what?
Howdy,
Yeah,
howdy.
dude.
What's going on?
So we were kicking around the old text machine this afternoon, and half of the crew is not at work. They're all out hunting deer still. So a little bit jealous, but that's what we do around here, man. So how'd you guys do tonight?
Big zero.
Goose egg.
No movement at all. Thought that
Well,
cold
nope.
weather was going to make them move and had zero movement.
Yep,
It's
that's
like-
exactly what I thought too. After that cold rain this morning, all morning long, I was like, man, they're definitely going to be on their feet tonight. Yeah.
Didn't happen. Well, it's like I said in the intro, a bad day of hunting still a better day than a good day at work. So I'm still a little bit jealous. I went back to work today, first day back after several days off with the holiday and opening weekend. So sort of getting back into the swing of things. But here we are, episode 99, and we just thought it would be appropriate. Kris and I were talking. Let's tell some opening weekend stories. Last week we talked about doing the episode leading up into the opener, and it was just too much on our plates with the holiday coming up and everything, and so we didn't record. And we thought as the weekend went through this weekend, everybody's sending pictures, sending texts, and sounding off on how it's gone. I thought, man, let's bring a couple of the guys on to hear some of these stories. So, Kris, how
Absolutely.
are you doing, man?
I'm here, dude. How are you guys?
We're living the dream, bro. It was a really cold opener for me. 24 degrees up at
Yeah.
4 a.m.
Yeah.
Hiked up the mountain, found myself a nice spot. Tried to stay out of the wind, and I stayed semi-warm until about, I don't know, 8:30, 9 o'clock. And then you chimed in with a text Why don't you tell me about your morning, because you got me fired up and getting ready to go if I wasn't hyped already.
Yeah, so we had an exciting morning, and Josh and I think even Lee, we had talked about it. You know, it was the first time that my oldest boy went by himself. He's always been with somebody or in the area, and Josh and I had set a blind up for him, a corncob blind atop our property. It's only, what is it, Josh, 600-700 yards from me, but a different part of the property.
Yeah.
So we set him up, and I drove him up, and I set him up and made sure he was good. And it was like almost like walking away from Old Yeller for a minute. Like, okay, you know, I want to stay with him, but he was pumped, and I turned around and walked away, made the trek back to my stand, and it was 24, 25 degrees with us too, wasn't it, Josh? It was pretty cold.
Oh yeah. It
down
was
with us.
freezing.
And you guys have heard me talk. My tree stand that I've hunted out of for years is on top of a big rolling hill and ridge too, and it was breezy. And again, if you've heard me talk about it, I hunt at the corner of a woods of a real thick hardwoods behind me and to my right, and to my left is just rolling CRP grass that borders our farm and two other farms. So it's exciting because you can at least see deer. You're going to see deer there, you know, whether they're close or not. You're going to see stuff. So as soon as the sun comes up, I'm texting my son, and here comes some deer. Hey, Presley, there's deer running. Here they go out here. Keep your eyes open. I'm seeing bobbing through the grass. You know, by about 7:30, I'd probably seen 6 deer. They're nothing close to me, but shots are ringing off. And I don't know how it is up near you, Ron, but I mean, there was some shots going off, boys, that were questionable.
Yeah.
Early, right? Early.
You know, yeah. I mean, I don't know if they're like, you know, shooting them off like the let's start the races or what. But I mean, it's
Right.
dark.
It's
You know, and
officially time.
yeah, let's go. And I mean, even for me to say that, because where I hunt, I can see a little bit more when the sun comes up over the field, and I'm like, bro, I don't know what they're shooting at. But then, yeah, you know, just about 8:15, I texted my son. I said, "There's some deer moving across the way. They're going to be running your way, buddy. Get ready." And Josh and I made a little bit of a critical error with this blind. It's a great evening spot, but the sun comes up where I had my son, and it just beats. It beats on him. He goes, I can't see out of my scope, Dad, no matter how I turn. He said, I saw the deer, but they were moving too fast. Well, they ran up my way. About 15 minutes later, here comes 2 does bobbing through the grass. Josh and Lee will both tell you, like, I don't let deer walk usually. I'm that guy, right? And I had a moment where I'm like, okay.
Shoot the first one that goes through.
Usually, yeah. Well, no, usually I'm like, that's going to happen, right? And I said, okay, this looks like a smaller doe. Both those boys have been to our property. The grass that they walk through is deceiving. It really is. And
Yeah.
I said, okay, I'll let this one go. Maybe do this one. And then a cold breeze of air hit the back of my neck, and I said, nope, you're going to get it. So I shot her, put a good shot on her about 7. She was about 75 yards away. The gun I was using from my normal shotgun that I use was a 300 Magnum that my dad let me use because I was going to hunt with my son later in this blind to maybe make some farther shots. You always need to check your gear. We talked about that last time, right? And it shot good. It shot great. I made a good shot. I went to rack the bolt though, and it stuck. There was like no oil on this at all. So I could not see where the deer ran. I knew that it went back in this grass. Same thing Josh will tell you. We've had a couple experiences down there where you get down in that grass that's 6 foot tall. You can't see, you know. And I could not find blood. I couldn't find where this deer went. It took me about 20 minutes walking around. I actually told Ron yesterday I had to like take a minute and reset and remember this story that I just read about this guy looking for a deer. And I said, okay, I know she didn't come out. She had to go this way. Just catch your breath. I was cussing. I was like, what the? She's got to be in here somewhere. And just randomly, I looked to my left and I took a step in this tall grass and there's blood everywhere. And I look up about 5 yards and she's laying there. She actually doubled back. I don't know if she got, you know, lungs filled up with blood and freaked out, but she actually ran back up the hill a little bit. But sent some texts out. It's about 8:30 at that point. Sent some texts out and got the boys pumped up. Josh, before I was even out of the tree stand, somebody shot. That was close. Who was that?
Yeah.
You know,
That's the cool thing when you guys are hunting close, when you're hunting together, like same property, is
yeah,
you're like, man, I know that gun. I know the sound of
yeah,
that gun bark. You know, when
Yep.
it barks. You know, my brother's kind of like that. He shoots a 270,
yeah,
and you know the sound of that gun when it goes off, and so you get excited.
yeah. And this thing's a
Well, let's
freaking cannon too,
let's
by the
just
way.
yeah, let's just say something first off. I didn't ask who shot. I just sent Chris a text that said "well" with a
Yeah,
question mark.
Yeah,
Like,
justification.
did
yeah,
did you annihilate whatever you pointed that thing at?
yeah. I was frustrated at that point. I said, I'm looking in the grass right now. I got frustrated for a couple minutes because the last couple years, these guys know, and I'm just not hardcore about it like Josh and Lee are with deer, anyways. But I've really focused on my kids and getting them out and
Mhm.
doing stuff like that. So I hadn't shot a deer for 2 years, and
Well, you were due.
so I was due, and I was pumped, dude. I mean, I know it's just a doe, but I was so pumped when I walked up on it, and it was a lot bigger than I thought it was. It was a pretty fat doe, Josh. Am I wrong? Like,
Oh yeah, for sure.
you know, and I was pumped, dude. I'm sending texts to Ron. I'm getting selfies out in the grass with this thing, trying to set my jacket up so I can get a picture. And then I went and sat with my son and had a good rest of the morning. Got a pieball on video. We got a cool
Oh,
video of the
that's cool.
pieball doe running around.
Yeah, that was
Thought it was,
cool.
actually thought it was a coyote. We were talking about coyotes earlier. I thought it was a coyote chasing these deer, and it was a piebald little fawn running with, I guess his mom. So
So how late did you like sit out? Did you sit out till noon? Sit out all day? Sit out?
So we went then. After I got the deer, I pulled the deer out into one of our roadways, went and got the rest of my gear, and I walked a couple hundred yards back to my son. And we sat till what we say, Josh, 11.
Yeah, yeah, we
And
ended up sitting till 11, but Peyton ended up shooting her deer about 9:30.
yeah,
And then we gathered that, and then we actually moved over to a spot closer to Chris just to see if we could maybe bump something up towards Presley,
Yeah,
and
yeah. Try
uh,
to get something
and
going.
then yeah, well that didn't work, so we just ended up sitting there, and then we all
yeah.
met back about 11 o'clock for lunch, and
I tried to motivate
Chris,
the boys. I tried to
yeah, I
motivate
was
them.
gonna say Chris
Well,
has
I'm
a
excited, dude.
Chris has a little thing that he likes to do with the kids, especially that if anybody kills a deer on opening day, he's going to buy them breakfast. So when my daughter shot her deer, she looks at me in the face and she goes, "I guess I get to go to Chick-fil-A." Ha ha. I'm like, "Ugh."
Yeah,
So you guys remember? I don't know if you remember. I think it was on ABC, that old show Wipeout. It was like
yeah,
American Gladiators,
yeah,
only kind of like random people, reality
yeah,
TV. So they had this thing called the motivator because people would be scared to like start the obstacle course, and
yeah.
that's what I thought of when Chris was saying, "Man, that cold air went down my hit my neck. I was going to let the deer go." But you know, the motivator is sometimes that cold breeze on a cold day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's not worth it sitting out, you know.
You know
But
what's you know
yeah.
what's
got it done, man.
yeah. You know it's not cold tacos. So
Chick-fil-A.
yeah,
Chick-fil-A is not cold either.
yeah. Tell your story, Josh. Tell us about your morning.
Well, I mean, it wasn't. It was about an hour after you shot, and it was about an hour after you sent the picture of you with your doe. Peyton and I hadn't seen anything all morning. I mean, it was really slow down in our area. I mean, we heard gunshots everywhere, but we just weren't seeing the deer in our woods. And almost the same thing. About 9:15, 9:30, this nice sized doe steps out, and I said, Peyton looks at me and she goes, "Dad, there's a deer," and it trickles into this little woods right in front of us, and I'm like, "Okay, it's going to cross this creek." It didn't cross the creek. It actually turned and doubled back around and came right back in the same way that it was coming. And I said, "Peyton, it's up to you, baby." And she said the same thing Chris did. She said, "Dad, I'm cold." And I was like, "Okay." She's like, "Can I shoot this deer so we can, you know?" And I was like, "Baby doll, if that's what you want to do it." I mean, so she raised the gun up, and I don't know. For me, just to see her confidence as an 11-year-old with a 308 in her hands, she just didn't even bat an eye. She threw that sucker up on the rail, one shot, clicked it off, dropped her dead in her tracks, and man, My dad said he heard me yelling from a couple hundred yards away. I didn't get this one on video.
Yeah, the first deer, man, you let one rip. It's like
I can't help it. I can't
a
help it.
Comanche out there.
I get excited, man, because my adrenaline's pumping, and I don't know. I just get excited for her, and she's super into it. She can't wait to go back out again. She still has a buck tag, so we're gonna try to go out on Saturday and see if we can't get something done then.
That's awesome, man. I mean, so
Yeah.
Chris's picture got me warmed up, and I was ready to rock. And then I saw Peyton's picture, and I was like, the group's getting it done, and then some other guys as well. Where we were hunting, there were just so many guys came up to camp. It's like it was the Orange Army. I mean,
yeah,
there's just so many there. So the deer weren't really moving. It's been good archery hunting. I'm seeing deer on camera just about daily. But my one nephew, he wanted to get a shot at an opportunity at a deer, and I've been pretty successful on opening day the past couple of years. So he said about sitting with me. So I put him with me, and we were just hunting the ground, but it's kind of a sweet spot. We know deer move through there. Local guys drive the forest, like the fingers of the forest, the state land that we're on, and they usually push deer and get them moving. And so usually, late morning, midday, we see some deer moving through. We didn't even see that this year. I mean, it was slow, and the guns weren't around us. There weren't a lot of shots, till dark evening, right at dark. And you're questioning about some of those shots too. Like, well, it's still a little dark, so it wasn't on the front end as much as the back, but I say about 10:30, I had, the leaves were crunchy. I mean, it was cold and the leaves were crunchy and there wasn't anything sneaking by. And you guys, if anybody's been listening to the show or watching the show for any period of time, hear me talk about the backside of the mountain where our camp is and how steep it is. And it's a real pain in the ass to drag deer out of there. You got to pack them out, and I'm out of shape. I can't do it anymore. And I'm never going to go hunt back there ever again. Well, I had a porcupine come through in the morning about, I don't know, 10 o'clock. And my nephew, he came within like 15, 20 yards of me at my stand, and my nephew never saw it. And so I thought to myself, all right, he didn't see that. Is he on his phone? Is he not paying attention to what's going on? About a half an hour later, I hear crunch, crunch, crunch. And it just this, beautiful little deer coming through. And it came up, and he took the exact same trail, 15, 20 yards away from me. I'm screwing with my cameras, trying to get them to, set point of the right direction so that I can, get the record the shot, which I didn't. My camera malfunctioned. Whole another story when you're talking about self-filming, but it happened so quick. And so I figure he's not seeing the porcupine. He's not going to see this deer either. So I threw the scope up and put one on it, and never happens this way. This deer runs uphill on the backside of the hill. So like usually you shoot them and they 200, 300 yards down into the hellhole you got to drag them out of. This deer runs 40 yards uphill. And I mean, it was a great shot. I took out both front shoulders. I like to keep the heart and eat the heart. Well, this heart was ruined, just shot right through it. And, but with two broken legs and a bullet through the heart, he still ran 40 yards uphill on this steep incline until he's kind of like one of those Broncos you see in the rodeo, up on the hind legs, and sat down on his rear end. And then he slid about 10 yards downhill, and that's where it landed. But I saw the deer down. That sort of stuff really warms you up. Like there's no ifs, ands, buts about it. You have a little bit of success, and that's what it's all about. So
100%.
And then we're getting on towards the end of the day. So we're all sending pictures, we're all sending texts, and super excited about everybody's day. And the one I really wanted to hear about was you, Lee. Because I know you've been talking to us about getting your boy out, getting him hunting. We were talking earlier in archery season about, video gear and all that sort of cool stuff because you want to capture these moments. And why don't you just walk us through your story, because you had a little bit of opening weekend success too, right?
Yeah, well, none of it was videoed, of course, because it all happened at the wrong time. But no, Saturday morning, of course, was opening day here. We didn't go out. My wife and I had a trip planned. Yes, I know. I planned a trip on opening day of rifle season. But it was for our anniversary, so we took a trip up to New York.
Did we revoke his card from the group, guys? Or it's his anniversary, do we give him a pass?
But Sunday,
I'll let it ride.
Yeah. We'll allow it, Lee. We'll allow it.
Sunday, I promised Easton that we would get out, and we went out early Sunday morning. It was just as cold as Saturday. We didn't have any wind down here Sunday morning. And of course, my son, as we talked before, passed all the does. We had does around us morning and evening. And he's like, I don't want these. I'm not shooting these. I want my buck. I'm like, okay, that's fine. We'll sit here and wait this out. We've got 2 weeks of rifle season. He's got, 2 weekends off of school that we can get out. So Sunday night we go out. I was hopeful because I'd been seeing a lot of movement on the trail cams in the evenings. Saturday when I wasn't in the tree stand, we had a couple nice bucks that I caught on camera, of course, with those and stuff. So I knew something was going to come along. Just when. I didn't know if it was going to be after dark, right at dark, 30 minutes before. I haven't been able to nail them down. They're moving just sporadically.
Mm-hmm.
So about 30 minutes before sunset, here comes 5-10 does. Just like the video I posted during junior hunt, they all just come down. They're working around the feeder. They're in the field. They're frolicking around. They're, chasing each other and all that stuff. And we watched them for the longest time. And they didn't leave. Usually they feed for about 15, 20 minutes and then disappear. They didn't go anywhere. And sunset had come and gone. I'm waiting for the 30 minutes, past sunset after legal shooting light. And I'm like, these things need to leave. I want to get out of the stand. I don't want them to know that we're sitting in the stand. So I'm having him pack everything up. And for the guys that know, Josh has been over here. I literally am hunting like 100 yards from the back of my back door. I'm right behind my barn. So I texted the wife. We've done this 1,000 times. I've had my dad, I've had my wife, I've had my kids. They'll just come down into where our garden is and make a bunch of noise and act like they're messing around there, and the deer will move away and allow me to get out of the stand. So I'm texting her. I'm like, hey, we're covered in does. Please come down here and get these things away from us so I can get Easton out. Because it's kind of hard. It's easy to get yourself out of the stand, but you got to pack a kid, a gun, our backpack, everything. So I'm trying to get him out of the out of the stand. And I happen to look over. This is probably 5 minutes before legal shooting light is over. I look over and I see antlers coming through the field.
Mm-hmm.
And I throw the gun back on the tripod. I screw it back down. I'm like, get on the scoop. That's a buck. And he's like, just looking at me. I'm like, Easton, there is a buck. You want to shoot a buck, right? And he's like, yes. I said, there is a buck 70 yards away. He is coming in. You need to get on the scope. And I'm watching my clock. I'm watching my watch. I'm like, we are losing. Minutes are passing here.
Urgency matters.
Yes. And so I'm like, I'm not trying to rush you, but I was like, do you want to shoot this? Are you sure you want to shoot this? He said, yes. So I got him up on the gun. I pushed a safety off for him. I said, do you have it in do you see it? He goes, I see like a shadow. I'm like, all right, readjust, get your deer in your scope.
Mm-hmm.
And he did that. And he's like, okay, I've got it. And the deer stood still for probably 2 minutes, just looking around. Perfect broadside shot. Couldn't ask for anything better, especially with me trying to rush him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, when you're ready, take a squeeze. And of course, I'm watching the deer through binoculars. And as I'm doing this, I'm realizing that here comes Brittany and here comes my daughter, and I'm texting them, stop. We now have a buck in front of us.
Uh-huh.
Don't stop scaring deer away. So I'm trying to do all of this all at once. My emotions, it's like I'm shooting my first deer for the very first time. I was buck fever like I can't remember. And she's like, okay. She texts me, and by this time I look, and we are exactly a minute away from legal shooting light ending. And I told Easton, I said, squeeze the trigger now. And he squeezed the trigger, gun went off. I watched the deer run, and I was like, you did it. And of course he starts bawling and, just happy tears, man. He's like, I did it. I shot my first buck. I'm like, step one's done, buddy. We now have to go find it. Yes, you did really good under pressure. I was trying to get him moving along. I said, you did very well. So we pulled out for about 20 minutes, and I wanted to give it some time. The wife came down. We got dressed to go look for it. We went down to where I know he hit it. It was on camera. I pulled up my trail cam, and I could see the deer. I knew exactly where he was standing. No blood, nothing, zero. And at that point as a parent, you're like, oh, I rushed him. I screwed it up. I made him.
Yeah, you put it on yourself.
I made him go too fast. I should have just, it was too dark. We should have just said, it's not possible. I mean, all the emotions were flowing, and we started scouring the bottom of my property to try to see if we could find anything. We found nothing. I pushed probably about 50 yards into the neighbor's property to see if I could find anything, because most of my deer end up dying in the stream bed. They go to water, and that's where they end up. Nothing, found nothing. So 30, 40 minutes had passed, and I'm like, let's just pull out. And of course, then the tears start of, I missed him, I messed up. And, we had a long talk. We all had to regroup up at the house and work through our emotions and our sorrows at that time. But something told me I needed to go out the next morning and go look for this deer.
Well, sure.
It didn't mule kick like I would have liked to see it, but it ran like it was hit. When it took off, it did not look like it was missed. So I told him, of course, it's Monday morning now. He's got to go to school. I said, as soon as sun comes up, I'm gonna go look for this deer. End up walking down into the woods. I get probably about 50 yards into my woods, and I see two coyotes take off through the woods of my neighbor's property, up the hill and over the hill. And I'm like, well, if there's coyotes down here, the deer's probably down here. So I started taking a walk, and that's when I found him. Of course, unfortunately, the coyotes had gotten to him and tore him up pretty bad. But we were able to recover him, pulled him over to my side, field dressed him and stuff. And I got on FaceTime, and I FaceTimed Easton right before he got on the bus. And I'm like, here he is, buddy. We got him. So, of course, he was super happy. Adrenaline rushed for him. And adrenaline rush for me. I mean, Kris knows, Josh knows. This is a completely different feeling, being the parent behind the gun. Man. And for him to shoot his first deer and to be stringent, and he knew what he wanted, and that's what he wanted. That's what he passed up multiple opportunities, several sits. He knew what he wanted, and we were able to connect finally. And he got off school. We were able to get him some pictures. He was able to put his hands on it for the very first time, and he was ecstatic. I mean, it was a great deer for his first deer. I couldn't be any more pleased.
Yeah, it's an incredible deer for his first deer. Yeah, I was thinking here, I listened to you tell the story, Lee, and the urgency of this can happen in a matter of seconds, right? And I know, like for myself, especially probably more when I'm archery hunting than rifle season, but you see that deer maybe coming in, and the thought enters your mind like, all right, this is going to happen. And It sounds like you had that moment, like, all right, this is going to happen. Everything, the stars are coming into alignment. But when you're young and you've not experienced it, you don't have those, miles on your hunting boots yet. You don't realize how quick you can miss an opportunity. Like it's over, like vapor. So, I don't know. That's what I was thinking of, because I mean, I deal with that. Like, we all want to see these younger kids be successful. But just thinking back on us growing up and cutting our teeth when our first few animal kills, how many were the ones that got away? Because I was not paying attention, or I wasn't tuned in, or I didn't do it fast enough. So, super super pumped that Easton was able to make the connection. Man, that was one that we were all excited about too.
Yeah, I'm
Absolutely.
super pumped that all of us have had great success this year with getting our kids some deer, and
Yeah.
We'll see what the rest of the season brings. I mean, we're only 3 days into it here, so.
Yeah. Lee, talk about the knives that you used. I know you put a post up about that. Talk about those knives.
Yeah, so I'm sitting here. I grab my backpack Monday morning, and I take it down to the woods, and I pull out a dragon rope and a set of knives. And it didn't dawn on me until after I'd field dressed the deer. I got it back up here, checked it in for him. I'm sitting on the couch, and I'm like, that rope and that set of knives, that was my dad's. My dad hand lashed this rope together so you can like put it over top of the deer's shoulders and then put another loop over top of your shoulder, and you can like drag the deer easily. And he had these Buckmaster cheapo knives that he got in some 1990s gift box. But looking at it, that set of knives has gutted 100 deer plus. And not just that, but now that I field dressed Easton's deer, that it's 3 generations that those cheap Buckmaster knives has now touched. So, my dad, myself, Brittany's deer, and now Easton. So it was just a little special moment. It was a sentimental moment that, you take stuff for granted. It's just a piece of, it's a tool. It's just another piece of equipment. But that thing, that tool has touched a lot of deer and has been in a lot of people's hands. And if that thing could tell stories, I mean, it's been to hunt camp for the last 25 years, and now 3 generations deer. It's pretty cool.
It can tell stories. That's why it's cool.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a cool story about a hunting knife that was my dad's. So I'm the youngest. My older brother is he's probably got like 13 years on me, and he's gone through a lot of my dad's fishing gear and hunting gear and like all that sort of stuff. And I remember I started hunting when I was 12, and I don't know how old I was. If I was 12 or 13, my dad got me for Christmas one year a buck knife, and I still carry it. That's the knife that I use. But I don't know. It was a couple years into me hunting, and my dad, he comes to me, he's like, "Where's my knife?" I'm like, "What do you mean, where's your knife? I got my own knife. I don't need your knife." But he's so used to like my brother taking his stuff, I guess he assumed I do the same thing. He couldn't find his knife, so eventually he gave up, and he went and he bought himself a new buck knife. So a couple years go by, I'm like 15, 16 years old, something like that, and I'm going through the closet and in a raincoat, which we don't wear raincoats very often, and like we just get wet, if we got to work in the rain. But there's a rain jacket and I was checking the pockets for something, and I found my dad's original like old time knife. And so I've got it now. He didn't get it back since he went and got a new one. So I know what you're talking about, man, because like when I break that thing out, it's not because it's a superior piece of equipment. It's just, it was dad's. It's gone through so many, rides, and
it's not a $200 set of knives from, Bass Pro Shop. This thing has literally been handed down. And when he passed away, I took all of his hunting equipment and went through it, and I was like, I want to keep this. I want to keep this. And it's now in my backpack, and that's where it'll stay for another generation, hopefully.
Yeah. So, I mean, let's just, I wanted to talk about quickly, gear that we use. Cause I know you were saying about Kris had said about, you got to check your gear. He's fooling with the bolt on that gun of his, and I'm fooling with the cameras, while I'm trying to shoot my deer. And what do you guys go out with? What do you shoot with?
So normally I have a 20 gauge rifled slug gun that I normally shoot with our grandfather gave Josh and I our first deer rifles. Josh and I are not short, but our grandfather was. So the rifles that he gave us at the time were like, how tall was he, Josh? 5'6", maybe 5'4", 5. It wasn't a big guy.
Yeah, he was not very tall.
So they're like custom. I have a 7mm 08, just the custom, in the traditional brown and black Remington. That was mine, but it's little. I mean, it almost looks like a 22. And then Josh, you have the very similar version in a 308.
Yes.
That Josh still uses. I could never, as I started getting taller, get comfortable. I couldn't get comfortable shooting it. I killed deer with it, and my sons who's killed deer with it. I just could never get comfortable on it. So, kind of what you're saying, Lee. My dad let me use this 20 gauge slug rifle, and I've just kind of assimilated into mine. It hasn't gone back to my dad. Yep. And I've killed a lot of deer with that. We told stories about Josh killing. That's usually what I take. I was going to go out at some point and sit with my sons, like I said, in this blind where there's a chance to shoot pretty far, open field. So let me take this out. And, my dad shot it a couple times, didn't realize it didn't have enough oil on the bolt. So that's what we took that day. It did the job, though. It did the job. I pack light, though. I'm not taking much. I had a seat pad, bottle of water in my pocket. I had a little pack underneath my stand with my other stuff, but in the stand, I don't have much with me up there.
I overpack. I like everything in the kitchen sink in my backpack.
Yeah.
Because I sit all day. Like we were up at 4. I was in, we left cabin probably 5 o'clock, to get into our spot by 6. Yeah. And I sat there until, after dark.
Yeah. Nope. I pack pretty light because we're not too far away if I got to get something else. But in the stand, I don't have much with me.
Josh, what do you carry?
So first off, Kris was saying I shoot a 308. It's a Remington 308 Model 7.
Yeah.
So it's literally the gun might be 3 feet long. It's a very short little gun, but I've been using it since I was 13 or 14 years old. Like my shotgun, it's like an extension of my arm. Like it's like I can throw that gun up and I know that I'm gonna hit because I've been shooting that gun for 23 years. Anyway, I love that gun. So just like always, I mean, I always have a ratchet strap and stuff to drag deer with. I always got sharp knives and a knife sharpener in my bag and little baggies and stuff. But this time I did something that I don't typically do because Peyton was with me that I'm going to start doing all the time. And that is I have a thermos and we stopped at Royal Farms and filled that sucker full of hot chocolate. And it was 20 couple degrees out there. And I was like, okay, I have this thermos, but I don't have a cup for it. So we emptied out 2 cans of corn, washed the cans out, and those were our little hobo cups for the day. And I'll tell you what, man, you put hot chocolate in those things and hold it for a minute, your hands get nice and toasty. So I might start doing that more often.
Presley was pumped because you still had a bunch in the cup and you gave to him.
Oh yeah. Before we poured it in the thermos,
he was at Starbucks.
Yeah.
Let me give you guys a pro dad tip for hot chocolate at gas stations, okay? This is what we do when we duck hunt with the kids. I'll go get a hot chocolate, like Josh said, and I'll put it in one of my thermoses. But if you buy like a chocolate milk and then mix it with there, it'll make it the perfect temperature and super chocolatey. So,
ooh,
life hack. Recommendation is buy a miniature chocolate bar.
Oh,
drop that in and let the hot chocolate melt it down, and that'll make it chocolatey.
Listen, I'm married, Ron. Don't talk dirty to me.
Yeah. It's good. You might not feel great after you drink it, but that's what you do. So, yeah, I mean, I appreciate like the storytelling here, guys, because, it's one thing for us to share this on text and, pictures and that sort of thing, but to sit here and listen to you tell the story, it carries a lot more weight as far as that goes. So, it's only, and like we said, it's only a couple of days into the season. Like we got a 2-week season. What's Maryland? How long is it then? You
think 2 weeks.
So 2 weeks. It's 3 Saturdays, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, we've got like a lot of time to fill those tags. What would be a piece of advice to anybody that hasn't had any success yet? Because if your area is anything like mine, like it's nuts on that opening weekend, but then listen, it dies down. Everybody goes back to work. You don't get it kind of goes back to like it is not quite an archery season because you don't. That's why I like to archery hunt. There's not that many people in the woods, but numbers die down throughout the week. Maybe on the weekends it picks up again in PA, and you got guys that are out there. So, what piece of advice would you give to somebody that is still out there, grinding it out?
Try to get on food right now.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's a big one for me. Try to get on the food plots right now. I mean, I'm not saying the bucks are done rutting, but I'm saying that they're getting a little exhausted and they're back on food. So that's my advice. If you're still hunting right now, that's my tip.
Yeah, I mean, you're in a spot you guys know from bow hunting. I mean, some of these places, especially in Maryland, these deer have been hunted since when's it come in, Josh? September?
September 9th.
Yeah, early September.
So
yep.
They're looking. They've seen a lot of stuff. Talk to your neighbors. Talk to your people hunting around you. I stopped by when I was walking out of the woods the other day. There was two guys on the property behind us. They waved me over, and I talked to them for a couple minutes. And they had a doe and a big. I think it was a 3-point. It was a really big body deer. I was surprised when I walked up and saw the rack on it. And I'm not judging at all. That's I'd have shot it in a heartbeat. But talk to them and see what they're seeing, and that's how you're going to find stuff out, man. I mean, take your time, and there's plenty of time. As it gets colder, they're going to start grouping up. So,
yeah, and I was seeing that in archery, early November, like I guess mid-November. I was starting to see does group up, and it was really pressure. I think that was putting them into groups already like that. So,
actually, what you need though, out of all that, is you need Josh's daughter, because every time I take a ride in the car with her, we see deer. She came with us on our family my birthday vacation to West Virginia, and we counted like 120 deer on one road trip. So that's what you need. You need Josh's daughter, and she spent the night with me. She spent the night with me and my girls after that, and we drove to my mom's the next day, and there was just deer everywhere.
Yeah, you can't beat a good luck charm if you got one of those.
Everybody get yourself a peepers.
Everybody get yourself a good set of peepers.
I'm lucky enough here. My neighbor that does hunt, he's has medical issues, and he's allowing another neighbor to hunt his property now. But I reached out to him and said, "Hey, let's meet up. Let's talk. I think we should be on the same page about, what we're doing, because we're hunting so close together. I mean, we're only 150 yards away from each other. And if you're cool, let's share trail cams. Let's share, your knowledge of what you're seeing and stuff." And it's really helped. I mean, we talk every day. Every day he's in the stand or I'm in the stand, we're texting each other. "Hey, I've got moving on my side of the stream. They're coming over to you." And that's really helped out a lot, trying to pattern these deer that we really can't get a good pattern on right now. So just all over the place.
Yeah. Well, that's why it's, we always say it, group activities, a lot more fun than, going out and trying to crack the code on your own. Right. So when you're hunting a property and you got other people that you can compare notes with and swap stories with and, gain intel, it's always going to improve your odds, and we'll do anything to improve our odds as deer hunters. Right.
Yes, sir.
Fill the freezer.
That's it. I'm in a unique spot myself where I feel, if you've been listening or following along throughout archery, I was passing a lot of little deer, and I felt like, man, when's it going to happen? When am I going to break the ice? You almost put some like pressure on yourself, when you're used to, regularly killing deer. But after that first one, the second one came on the same day, and I don't know. I've got enough meat in my freezer right now, like for myself. I feel like I've got an adequate amount of. Now I got tags to fill. I might still go out a little bit, but I'm giving the meat away at this point. So I don't need it for my freezer, so I can be selective. So that's a great spot to be in. 5 days into the rifle season.
Right.
For sure.
And any rifle season stories for you guys? Like for me, it's cool because we go to camp.
Yeah.
But like, what do you guys do leading up to the opening day? Any special traditions or anything like that you do with your families? Because
Yeah, I mean, so in
when you're
Maryland,
home, right?
yeah, in Maryland, all you PA Yankees can suck it. We can bait for deer, so we're putting corn out or mineral blocks out or salt licks or checking feeders, and just kind of Josh and my dad are like you, Ron, where they're bow hunters, right? So they're out there anyways. They know where the deer are traveling, but that's when I'm starting to kind of gear up and talk to them and kind of go check where my place is and see what's moving. And then really the biggest thing is like the night or the night before is you start laying your clothes out.
Yep.
Maybe hang them on the truck or hang them outside, and that's when it starts to kick in for me when I'm like, okay, let me get my stuff out here and
grab the rifle, make sure you got your ammo.
Yeah.
Backpacks packed, snacks are packed.
The last couple of years, Lee, it's been let's get the duck stuff out of the truck to put the deer stuff in, right?
And that's what I was going to say. My tradition has always been, and it hasn't been so much lately in the last probably 10 years, but growing up, we duck hunted Black Friday. We ate Thanksgiving dinner. We duck hunted on Friday. We deer hunted on Saturday. And that's the way it was growing up with my dad and my brother. And we haven't been able to do that so much lately, but I mean, all of us went out and duck hunted 2 weeks ago. So we were able to get the duck hunting in and get the jitters of that out of us so we could get ready for deer hunting. And then 2 weeks from now, we're going to be back duck hunting again. So
yeah.
Oh man, there was geese flying everywhere on our farm the other day. My son's texted me and he's like, "Dad, there's geese everywhere."
Yeah, I had like 4
ducks everywhere too.
They're everywhere. So
yeah.
Well, that's what we have to look forward to. We got a couple of weeks left of deer season, but you guys, you waterfowl guys, I don't know, I might have to come hang out with you a little bit because
you should.
I'm meat's in the freezer, man. So I'm feeling like I'm in a pretty good position to just come hang out. So looking forward to seeing if we can make
real quick. I need to touch on something with these two guys that have both hunted Cadorus. Did you guys see the story about those dudes that smashed the pintails?
Yeah,
at Cadorus?
You told me last night. I'm jealous.
Yeah, man. Apparently pintails and longtail ducks were all coming in. Apparently there's a bunch of divers coming up to Cadorus right now because of this cold front up north. Suckers. Anyway, that's just exciting.
They're gone. They're already gone. They're gone yesterday.
Oh, I know.
The rain moved them out.
Yep.
Well, listen, guys. Next week is episode 100. And we've been doing this it's like crazy. I said at the beginning, we've been allowing this circus to go on, and you all are part of the family. And I want to do a little bit of a walk down memory lane. So I don't know exactly who's going to be on the show, how we're going to do it, but tune in next week because Kris and I have been talking about this for a couple of weeks, maybe a month or so, and we're excited because we don't know what the next 100 episodes are going to look like, but I want to say probably the last 50 have been really strategically us all coming together and building a community and hanging out. So, hat tip to all you guys that have sort of linked shields with me and my group. Appreciate you guys. You're part of my extended family. And the show wouldn't be what it is without you guys hanging out and bringing your stories. And I'm enjoying watching your kids be successful and everything goes with it. Even the night sitting at the table, I got a picture from Buck. One of his girls went out and got it done, and
yes, sir.
I love seeing that. Love seeing it. So next week we got 99 down. 100 is on its way. So appreciate you guys for tuning in. If you're watching, if you're still on the stream, or if you catch us on the flip side, give us a like, give us a subscribe, follow the Tracks and Tackle channel for more stories and content like this. We never run dry. The well doesn't run dry with these hunting tales. So until next time, appreciate you guys. Stay wild, get outdoors, and happy hunting.